The past 2 years, I've been running a marketing agency, so trying to start my own business. And that's been a challenge, and I learned a lot of things. I got my first clients, so I did see some progress, but I noticed progress is slow, so that's why I'm considering, I'm going to do sort of like sales work, a high ticket sales. B2B sales partnerships is going to be what I'm looking for. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And the difference between sales and starting your own business. Because I haven't done the sales yet, but I have done the part where like starting my own business. And the reality is, like, especially in a marketing agency and any sort of business, you need to do a lot of sales anyway, because you need to get your clients in. And even when you're working for your clients, it's still a lot of sales. Like, you still need to keep them happy. So it's all part of sales. But the reality is, when you're working on your own business, there's a lot of complexity that comes on top of that, because it's not just sales. It's not just getting clients in. The reality is, if you're starting your own business, you need to validate your offer, because you haven't really delivered results yet. People can't trust your business yet because you don't have a working system yet. And so because you don't have a working system, this means the sales and the persuasion that you need to do is going to be a lot more difficult than if you're working for a company that already has a working system, already has a validated offer. So that's why the sales is much more difficult when you're starting your own company. That's why you haven't validated your offer. Then you need to think about delivery as well, because even if you have you know what people want, then you still need to be able to deliver on that. And that's not just sales. Depending on what you actually offer, you might need to do fitness training, you need to get good at coaching. If you do marketing, you need to be good, sort of like coaching, consulting, but you need to actually know marketing if you want to know how to actually get your clients results. So the reality is, if you're starting your business, it's a chain between the offer and the delivery. Because in these 2 years I've been working on business, delivery hasn't been great, but just because the delivery isn't great, just because you don't get client results well, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's just your delivery at fault. Because if your offer isn't right for what the client needs, then you could be great at those skills. But if it's not what the client needs, then you're never going to get the results to the client, right? So that's why you don't just need delivery, you also need a matching offer. And that takes a lot of time, in my experience. Maybe it's also a little part, I'm sure that's like an excuse, but I'm sure there's also truth to it, because I'm working in my local market, and so every market is a little bit different, right? I'm working in Belgium. If you're working in the UK or you're working in the US and you're learning from someone who knows how to get results for your specific niche, in your specific market, in your specific region, you're not going to need to know how, what offer they need, because you're going to just be able to copy your mentor. But if you're working in a different niche, a different region, it's going to take some time to validate the offer. And that's why I'm not going to switch to sales probably, but I want to get some experience in that. And also just because I think it's going to be easier to get cash flow with sales in high ticket closing, because I just need to master one skill. And I don't want to underestimate it, because I don't think that's a good mindset when you start something new. Just because it's in theory easier doesn't mean that I underestimate it. I think it's going to be fucking difficult, But I do hope it's going to be, I know the potential is there to make faster cash flow than with a business. So that's what I'm going to do. And also just because I think sales is interesting on itself. And I already wanted to go there anyway. Even with my business, I was like, well, why do I need to do this marketing? Sure, like it's a cool thing. I'm learning new things. I get why this is important. But my passion is more for sales. So I was always feeling a little bit sad, I guess, that I couldn't just focus on sales in my business. Well, maybe if I get some experience as an actual closer, I will get more in that mindset as well. And maybe get more experience, and maybe we'll be able to coach people, maybe make the right connections. So that's another thing. For me, it's just two things. Like one, the cash flow. I know it has a potential for faster cash flow. And then the second thing is like I'm a bit more passionate about it as well than I am about marketing. I don't hate marketing, but I like sales more. So that's what I'm going to be doing. What does this mean for you? I think if you're in a similar situation, if you're struggling with your business, maybe you like your business, but you're struggling to make cash flow and you've already been doing it for 2 years, and you like the idea of starting a sales job, why not? I guess it depends. Like if you are just starting out, I would say stick at least a year with your business. Try to make it work. See if you can make cash flow with just your business. But if it starts taking too long, I would say don't necessarily quit, but if cash flow is important to you, then I would consider a job like sales or something on the side to get that cash flow. But it depends on where you're at. Maybe you're just in a comfortable situation right now and you don't have any reason. Maybe you don't need cash flow right now. So I was thinking about that. But the reality is like I want to start living, not just work on my business 24/7. I want to have like life as well. So that's why I want the cash flow. It doesn't mean I'm going to be less of an entrepreneur. Like maybe I'm going to feel a little less, but it's still going to be an important thing for me, entrepreneurship. Especially since I'm going to be working like in B2B sales, right? Hopefully I will be able to find some agencies that I can sell for. Agencies that are much more successful than me. They're much bigger than me, making much more revenue than me. So I'm thinking like, that will probably teach me a lot about my own agency as well, if I find someone like that I can work for. And I think it's just going to be a good experience. If it doesn't work out, I can always go back to my business. I do feel like I'm always improving in the business. It's just like I need the cash flow. I need a more results-minded mindset as well. So we will see. But I'm going to do the sales for now. I'm thinking it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a cool new experience. I'm going to learn a lot. And yeah, guys, let me know if you have any ideas or comments, suggestions on that. Check out my next video if you want. I will see you guys next time. Cheers.